How you doing, family? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Welcome to it. Don't ask me what the date is, man. This is why I miss my brother. He would have definitely told me what it is. Let me go and welcome the Bills in the building. How's the
Hola,
Bills
hola,
doing?
hola, hola, hola. Hey, Slyso. Chomiam. What?
Why you getting stress?
It's been a really a tough Monday, man.
Is it?
So yeah, spiritually I'm just down. There's been a lot of death, especially of young people. But
Oh man.
yeah, so
Oh
it's been a
man.
heavy Monday, but here we are. Here we are. We're here to serve.
Yeah, man. Let's right there welcome the Queen into the building. Wait, she keeps disappearing. But anyway, we're just sorting that out, guys. One thing that we can do at the moment is definitely, say good evening to you. Welcome to it. It is the Slyso TV podcast. It is the 19th of January, by the way. That long month. I hope ikhaphetshu lisahleli ezikhabhathini. I hope ikhaphetshu lisalalaza ezikhabhathini noba uzalifraya noba uzawulenza ntoni. It is season 2. It is episode 22 of the Slicer TV podcast. I am not alone. My team is in the building. Let's just welcome the Queen in the building. Boo, 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 boo. No, I have to reach back now.
The way your office
She
is
is
set up,
here.
it's not economically.
Ndlovukani.
You can see it's haywire, hey?
You need to find a way of, using economics and be able to move around your office without breaking your back.
Trust you me, I'm forever on my research and my stuff, right? So I found there was this piece of equipment I was supposed to buy that was going to cost me some 2,000 or minimum, that is used, a Stream Deck, where I'm able to press all my buttons right in front of me. And then I found out there's actually software for it. And then I tried the software and it worked when I was doing all the tests. I remember I didn't sleep that night. I slept at about 4 o'clock in the morning. Damn it. Today, as I was testing, technology says, "Nyeh, nyeh."
We are not coming.
But Toto, how are you doing? Yeah, you're saying something, Bills?
No.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I was just telling you, Bills, that it's a busy time at the university because it's that time where we are welcoming the new students. So I am literally just trying to survive and make sure that I see through. The next couple of weeks are going to be quite hectic. But I mean, I love, you know how I love young people. I love my students. So always just a breath of fresh air to see first years who are excited about
Yeah.
university life and just excited to start the journey. So yeah, we are there.
I can
Yes.
imagine it's almost like you're living your own, what you call it, your own first year, because I'm sure you see yourself in each one of those students.
Yeah, and the nice thing is that because I work with such a young team, so they also just keep me up to date. I
Yes.
feel like they just keep me fresh and young. But it's so interesting to see the energies of young people when they are really just wanting to grab the opportunities, and I think it's such a privilege to be in higher education, working at a university. So
Yeah.
don't take it very lightly. And I can just hope about the students that we engage with get to see something
Get
in
the full
us, and
experience.
yes, and they get inspired about, okay, if Usis T can actually finish and get to where she is, I can do it in my life as well.
Oh,
Yeah, I think on that note, Toto, I was telling Usla so that I'm a bit down. So if I come
Yeah,
across as a bit morbid today, please allow me. Um, on that note, I was seeing the stats of applications versus the
yeah.
spaces available in
Intake, yeah,
universities. And in
whoa.
most cases, the spaces available are even as low as 5% the amount of applications that come in. That was so
yeah,
disheartening.
yeah,
It was absolutely so crushing that, there is that amount of, young people who will never
yeah,
get to experience a Toto, or
yeah.
have that full
Mm.
experience or any other, opportunities that come with being in an institution of higher learning.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, when we say it's a privilege to get to a university or any higher education, institution, really, because you know, it's so highly competitive now. I think, you know, I don't think when I was going to university it was that competitive. You know, maybe I wasn't aware. I don't know. But I think now more than ever, it's very competitive. And what is saddening, Bills, is that even the students that have passed well don't actually get to go to university because of this thing. Yeah, as numbers that universities can only take the space. You know, there's no capacity for universities to absorb all the matriculants. And then being mindful that there's also people from the previous years that are also trying again. You know, trying.
Yes.
Yeah, they still have modules to finish, and which is crazy. Yeah, ngoma hayi lihlahla lam ndizawuhamba nalo nakulo nyaka.
Oh God, yeah.
But it's very interesting. I mean, those numbers are crazy. I looked at, I think it does UKZN. They had like over 300,000 applications, and space that we had was only for about 9,000. And Nelson Mandela University as well, something similar. But they only have space. I know in KZN it's 9,000. In Nelson Mandela Bay, it's something like 800. 8,000. The space, but the number of applications that they've come through in Nelson Mandela Bay is about 200 and something thousand. You know, people applying. Can you imagine? You know how competitive it is, just from a processing perspective, and also young people as well. I think we have a generation of people who are saying we want it. You know, they are quite competitive. You know, if it's comparing notes, if it's comparing you waking up and being early, I think imagine we have such a workforce. Yeah. And speaking of school, guys, we're gonna delve into it. We had our meeting yesterday, and I'm crossing my fingers, and I hope that we don't.
I've got my watch.
We don't lava. Yeah, Toto is gonna be our timekeeper, making sure that we are definitely delving into stuff. I think there are two stories that we set out when we had our meeting yesterday, which was the issue with the United States of America and FIFA. FIFA is quietly reading the United States of America, the Riot Act. But what I'll do is I'll play the video so that even the viewer at home can have an idea or an inkling of what the issues are as far as the World Cup is concerned. I've been one of those people who has been calling for FIFA to boycott the United States of America World Cup, because you've got 75 countries that are sitting on your visa list, that people that you're not allowing. But the first story that I want to get into, while we're still talking about in Indaba Yesikolo Phakathi, it is this very tragic story that I think we all woke up to, where 13 pupils killed in that Vaal scholar transport vehicle crash. These were kids that were going to school just this morning. Just this morning. It was a very sad one. And I know, Bills, you've already said your spirits are not there, but like, it's just one of those stories. I mean, like, just catching the anguish that you see in this lady, you know, with officials trying to do the best that they can. And to learn that kids whose futures are so bright, they, looking forward to settling in with their friends. Oh, we're going to be in the same. I can imagine the conversations that they were having in that scholar transport as they were on their way to school, and the tragedy hit just like that. Yeah. So it's a very sad one. I think confirmed is about the 13 Even though closer, as I was listening to other news sources, it was put at 14, the number of young people that had perished there. So we say condolences to the families, man. And I think stringent measures need to be taken into account when dealing with scholar transport, because apparently there are ones that are controlled by the school governing body, and there are ones, the private ones, and then there are ones that are registered with the Department of Education. Maybe some consolidation or something to make sure that, we're not saying I know it's under investigation. We're not saying that the driver was wrong or anything like that, but just to put measures out there in place to make sure that our kids are ferried to school and ferried back safely. And that is it, man, as far as that one is concerned. And I think if you want to read about it, I'll put it down there on the ticker. Please share your views, your opinions as well, wherever you're watching. We are live both on the YouTube channel, the Slyso TV podcast. And while we are busy fixing the Slyso TV podcast page on Facebook, you can catch us live on the Slyso Facebook page, not my personal, but the brand page. Now, getting into the story that we said we're gonna talk about with the United States of America, I'm gonna play this short clip. It's about a minute and a bit, just taken from Canada Connect, talking about the issue with the United States of America and the fact that FIFA is quietly ringing. Why are you laughing, Pills?
It's actually not funny, but
Yeah, let me actually remove this. Yeah, you're saying?
no, I was just saying, the whole thing is not funny. Like, I'm looking at some of the countries on the list. We've got Brazil. They've won the World Cup how many times? We've got Morocco from, us. We've got Ghana. We've got Egypt there. It's
Nigeria.
So
No,
can they
Nigeria
call
is
it?
not in the World
Can they
Cup.
can
Oh,
they
we
call
kicked
it
them
World
out.
Cup then? With all these countries that are banned, is it still a World Cup or what is it like that they want to host?
Well,
I,
that is the argument currently, Toto. Do we still call it a World Cup?
No, because you
Where
can't.
teams that have qualified have are not going to be there. But one of the things that this video is going to bring to light as well is everything else that gets taken away due to Donald Trump's decision. I'm going to play it now.
World governing body is sending a strong message to President Trump about the 2026 World Cup games. The vice president of FIFA reacted to the president's claim that he can move matches out of U.S. cities that he considers dangerous. FIFA's vice president said football is bigger than any country.
With all due respect to current world leaders, football is bigger than them, and football will survive their regime, their government, their slogans.
The ripple effects go way beyond just fans in the stands. Media crews from these 75 countries now face the same restrictions. Sports journalists who've been covering World Cups for decades suddenly can't get visas to do their jobs. FIFA officials from affected nations are scrambling to figure out if they can even attend their own tournament. Travel agencies in affected countries are canceling group bookings. Airlines are reducing flight schedules to American host cities. Hotels are seeing massive cancellation waves from international visitors. FIFA spent billions marketing this as the biggest World Cup ever. 48 teams, 3 host nations, matches spanning from Vancouver to Mexico City. Canada's stable political environment offers FIFA something the United States clearly can't guarantee: reliability. There's no risk of sudden policy changes that could derail tournament planning. No threat of immigration raids at stadiums, no visa freezes that could exclude entire continents of fans. FIFA officials are already having quiet conversations about shifting more high-profile matches north. Nothing official yet, but the groundwork is being laid. When you can't guarantee that fans from qualifying nations can actually attend games in American cities, moving those games to Canadian cities becomes a lot.
Um, okay.
I'm over myself.
Technical. New
I'm over
software
myself.
again.
I'm over myself, guys.
Is it the new software?
It's the new software, and I think we need to employ somebody to deal with this thing. Because I'm
Yeah.
looking at the camera, the screen, everything. Maybe
Yeah.
can they help? Yeah, no, I need to put them back on. It's not the spectacles, but there we have it, guys. I mean, it's a Canadian YouTube channel that we lifted that story off, and we've given them credit, saying that Canada is an option if America, and
Yeah.
you heard the FIFA representative there saying that the World Cup is going to outlive, not even his presidency, Donald Trump himself, for him to impose 75 countries that he says they're not coming, and people are fearful of what ICE agents are doing already.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. It's insane, man. I don't know. I feel like he is being enabled somehow, you know?
Yes.
I really do feel like whenever I listen to these stories, I know there's policy, I know there's all these things, but some of these things are just, ridiculous, to say the
Ridiculous.
least.
Yeah.
To say the least. And as FIFA, why don't I just move my World Cup to Canada? Because
Yeah.
I read the statement that they issued, and I was looking forward to the statement that they're going to come up with, given all this madness. And I thought of FIFA to be quite resolute, but no, they're saying to fans, holding a ticket does not guarantee entry into America.
Imagine.
So fans need to look at options via Mexico and Canada. I'm like, rubbish,
What?
man.
So
Rubbish. Look
basically, we
at
don't want you here.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like if Americans don't want you, we can't make them want to explore other options.
Can you
I
imagine
It's
in the
think
like
middle of
no.
a game
Just
and
to
ICE
hear it,
agents
it's
are
like
there?
it's the cowardly way out. I think
yes.
it's also the easier way out. Just manage the situation, and I don't know. I don't know, but I am definitely praying for the World Cup in America. But also, I wait with bated breath. It's going to be quite interesting. I really feel.
I'm
Yeah.
over it. I think Canada has made bold moves by talking to China as far as the economy, was concerned, and deals 7 billion just from that short visit that Canada is going to be reaping from, including all the other deals that they have in farming, in the automotive space. Because farmers in Canada are happy, for an example. And then there's the issue of the EVs that are going to be brought into Canada as well. Now they're saying, Oliver, what is this going to mean? China is dumping its thingy. So they've taken the decision, and Canada has been picked as one of the, the hosts. So they might as well move. Apparently, there are places in Canada that they had reserved for as stadiums. So I guess now FIFA is quietly in talks to make sure that they utilize those stadiums fully in moving the games away from the United States of America. So that is as far as that one is concerned, man. Very interesting. We're gonna wait with bated breath. I don't know, Bills. You say that you are hoping that it works. Me, I'm saying if it skips them. I want
Yeah,
to.
I'm
Listen,
also
I
like,
think
no.
I think for me it's just about the safety of, because we
Yeah.
know more than any sport in the world, there's more football fanatics, right? And
Yeah.
they're most likely to flood to where there is, or to flock rather, to where there is a World Cup. And for me, that's my main concern. But where the two institutions are concerned, that being the US government and FIFA, let the chips fall where they fall, man. I just really hope that fans are safe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's 19:30, And definitely time for us to move on to make sure that we get into the Momo. And then after that, obviously, we'll take a look at the story that we actually started last week about. And I said that, like, when we were talking, the repetition. And yes, there's a teaching moment. And I think beyond what happened in Durban, there's an opportunity for people to learn about other laws. When you're sitting with your phone, going to certain departments' website and try to find what laws are being what's the word? Okay, it's called is Qulungwayo.
Yes. Eziqulunqwayo, right, kanye Slyso.
So that you know exactly when to get in, as a citizen, because we have this thing in the manner, why did they pass that law? It's because we haven't contributed. But I think in the meantime, we're gonna delve straight into you, Toto, and try to find out what is happening as far as the Momo is concerned.
Give up on your dreams, don't give up on yourself. It can also be a developmental crisis issue. Keep pushing and stay the course. Look, I don't know whether it's my network or what's going on, but I'm feeling like I'm in and out. But I hope that I'm audible. I thought to just continue from the conversation we were having about matriculants excited. Now people know where they are. The results are out, and people are getting ready now, and. I feel compelled as someone who works with, first year students a lot, and all the other students. I want to talk to first years about things they need to think about as they transition from university into university or higher education space. Maybe it's a college that you're going into, or a TVET, that you're going into. So very, very important to get out of the learner mindset and start to embrace the student mindset, because those are quite different identities, and they require different things from you in terms of behavior, in terms of thinking, right? So it's very important, and abazali also to assist their kids to understand now that you are now responsible for yourself. You are literally just on your own, when you get into that university, or when you get into that college, your decisions, are what rules you, right? Your decisions are what makes you. Your decisions are what you make the rules. We are stand, you do as you please, but the trick to having the freedom to decide and make decisions about your life is that you don't get to choose the consequences. Somewhere, somehow, the consequences are right there. You just have to deal with them. And what does that mean, Slyso and Billy, is that we want the matriculants who are going into higher education or universities to really think before they make those decisions. To think, to take their time, to think about the choices they're going to make, because every decision you are making has a consequence, and you can't choose the consequence. It's decided by the choice that you are making, or by the decision that you are making. So the decision really holds weight now, for you as a young adult, right? So with this freedom comes great responsibility, and the freedom that you have is the freedom around yourself as a person. Don't be confused, because universities have rules, colleges have rules. Where you're gonna stay, for example, if you are going to stay at a res, there are rules in the residence that you're going to stay. in. So you need to understand that you are going to be expected to act a certain way, to behave a certain way based on the rules of that university residence. The university itself and how you carry yourself as a student, there are rules, there are policies in place that you are expected to follow and know somehow. The university has a guiding document in terms of what a student can and what a student cannot do, right? So your freedom that you're excited about really goes as far as you deciding what you're going to eat, but as far as what you do in the university premises, that is already decided upon. The rules. So you need to really get yourself acquainted with your prospectus of your university. So you are going to be given something that is called a prospectus, which is the university rule book that you have to try and understand. I know it's boring, it's a book about what you can and cannot do, but it will assist you because you are going to tread carefully as you are making your choices and decisions, and as you are navigating the university space. One example that I really want to touch on, something that we've seen a trend in most universities with the GBV schedule. So we've seen that at university also. The sad part is that because students don't read the rules and they don't know the policies, at university, certain behavior that you would have thought is okay to do elokishini or eslining is not okay now in the university space and might get you into trouble, and it might be categorized as harassment, bullying, or GBV, right? Sexual harassment or rape. So that's what I mean when I say that there are rules at the university. So you need to be very careful and understand that you have got to know that your freedom is only limited to you, as an individual, but when it comes to you in the institution, you are still governed by the rules. The other thing that I want to just also remind the first year is that you are going to be deciding whether or not you are going to class, whether or not you are submitting your assignment, whether or not you are studying up for that test. Again, this freedom, that is so wonderful, that is so sweet, right? Whether or not you are waking up for that, they used to call it what?
A Donny.
The Donny. I don't know what the
7:45.
The 7:45 class, that everybody just despises and don't like because you don't want to wake up that early. But it is what it is. You are going to have to also deal with the consequence of, because you didn't attend your classes, because you didn't submit your assignments, now you don't have a DP somewhere somehow, because again, your choices, your decisions are going to have consequences. So you also need to look at, in your department or your faculty, what are the requirements as far as attendance is concerned? What are the requirements as far as assessments is concerned? Don't just decide about this subject because the subject, I don't understand it. You can't just randomly make those poor decisions because they will have consequences. So very important when it comes to your academics, make, again, sound decisions, make the right choices, and make sure that you make an informed choice. So go and find out what are the rules here. What could happen if I don't write an exam? What could happen if I'm not well, I'm sick, and I have to go to hospital, or maybe and then I have a test, then I have to, go home. Now I'm missing an assessment. What is the rule? So you need to understand the rules around how academic activities are managed, so that you don't find yourself in a situation where now suddenly you are repeating this first year. Because when you go to college, or now you suddenly are being excluded, which is another new language for a first year, Because what do you mean I'm being told to go home because I'm failing 2 subjects, or 2 modules? Because again, you are not a learner, you are a student. So there's an expectation that you can only be given grace with a few modules, but you have got to do what you're supposed to do, what you said you're going to do, which is study, right? So choices academic decisions that are better, that are in line with your requirements as far as your faculty is concerned, your university is concerned, rules of the university, understand the policies that are there. The other one that I want you to also just think about is now suddenly you can choose one, you know what, let's go out to me, let's just go have a good time. You know, you don't know, and now so look stressed, go the library, what's the problem? Right? So finding the balance, right, between socializing, going out with friends, which is also something that I encourage and say, don't lock yourself in your room.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want to make students feel like you're a university, I can't even breathe. No, you can breathe, but you just have to do it responsibly and make better choices that choose friends that are responsible as well, because your friends, unfortunately, they do influence you. You know, the people that you spend time with, they do have an influence on you. So as you are, you know, enjoying, now suddenly you can go to a restaurant and have a coffee. Now, you know, sit down and go look KFC, walk on whatever, make, you know, your decisions as far as finances are concerned. But also very important that you find balance in that you mustn't go overboard. Don't be extreme, you know, about socializing. You know, you are not just here. You know, the guy that is known for, you know, if you want to know where it's happening, you want to be known as that. Find a balance, do both. You know, this guy's like, if now push up, but if you know, this person can play. You want to be a balanced kind of student, because bottom line is you are here to get your degree, you are here to also get certain skills, right? And then finally, before I close, Slyso, the other thing that is important is from your first year, understand that you are building your CV, you're building your brand, you're building your profile. Get involved in other things that are productive and, you know, that develop you as a person. So you are doing your law degree, you are doing your, you know, your social work, you are doing your economics or management degree, but find out what else is happening on campus that you can actually get involved in, you know, that is not academic, right? So that is also going to help you to have now a community and have a support system, you know, and find like-minded people. You know, some students are doing poetry, you know, at university, and they're exploring their creative side. You know, some students are also just finding out that, hey, actually I can sing, I can join a choir. You know, there's so many that you can do at university. And we find, Bills, that students that are engaged outside the classroom actually get to have more opportunities, you know, because they are exposed to, you know, a lot of spaces that they never thought they could be exposed to. But also it opens up their mind, so they know that, okay, so my degree, yes, will help me to go to this path in terms of career-wise, but there's so many things that I can do. So suddenly a student knows now that actually I'm a good writer, so I can actually explore this while I'm also studying this side. So it's very helpful to be engaged within your university. And then I just want to say, all universities work really hard. One thing that I can tell you, you know, there's so many things that sometimes go wrong at university, but one thing that universities have gotten right, you know, right now is receiving first-year students and actually taking them through orientation. So this one is for parents. Make sure you find out when the orientation is taking place. That is, when are the first-year students going to be taken through what is required of them in the university. They are going to be, you know, told where they can find help, so that umntana angaziboni ahambe yobuza uncedo ngaphaya kwiphara lomntu elingakho, you know, na-credible apha university, or is not even a staff apha university, you know. But because wayekhe wanomntu amaziyo osebenza apha, so une-t-shirt yalapha kule university, you know?
Yeah, SRC.
You know, so that you're not taken advantage of, because unfortunately we live in a world where people will take advantage of a first year's vulnerability, you know, because awuyazi this is space bakwenza kantoni, awuyazi library ndawoni, awuyazi, you know, xa usiya res ubana uhamba kwephi icala to be safe, those things that university already have thought about, they know. So please attend the orientation program. Ask in the university when is the orientation program so that your child doesn't miss it. But also, abazali, go and find out where is your child, placed in residence. Abazali have a tendency of just sending abantwana a university and then just disappearing. It's very important to help your child to transition.
Yeah.
So, umzali, just provide that support. But in the 3 months, the first 3 months, it's very, very important. Check in, ubana uya adjuster, how's res, unjani rooms, are you finding your academics, are you managing? It's very important. That period of starting and that 6 months is a very, very crucial, because it tells us whether the student is going to make it or not, actually. So that is for my story for today. Make the most of it, enjoy it, and really just think outside the box when it comes to university, because you are there not to just get your degree, you are there to just transform yourself as a person. You mustn't come out the same person that you came in a university. You must leave a different person.
A different person.
Yes, you must leave a person that is now completely aware, completely responsible, completely, curious about the world and wanting to contribute positively in society. And that's me, Slyso.
Wow.
That's her story, and she is sticking to it. And I think if you are a student and you listening and watching, man, you got so many pointers there. You probably are lost right now. Where do I go? Who do I trust? I can imagine those people. We laugh about it. The SRC T-shirt, and these are people who year in and year out are there to learn nothing but first-year students. To steer you a different direction. But the whole thing on behavior. Behavior is linked to values. Now you are going out there to represent your parents. That's how your parents discipline and raising you as a person gets measured as well when you get there, when you are on your own. And I think be a good ambassador for Slyso. You're an ambassador. That's linked to your values. You are the face of your parents, and I think take pride in that as a young person. So I think that's one point I can really think of, and I think that it's a real beautiful takeaway from it, Bills.
Yeah, I think this moment for me, I wish I could package it for myself when I was 17,
That's
going
good.
to then PE Tech. It's so well rounded, and I wish my mom could have listened to it, or my dad at the time. Two things that you talked about at Toto without really going into it a lot: the mindset, the shift. I studied engineering as my first degree, and to see a lot of great potential never making it to second or third year, and people dropping out. And I look back, it was more of a mindset shift. It's not because they were not smart. They were, they moved, they came from a completely different context, and they found themselves in this space where they had all this freedom, and they had all this intelligence, but didn't know how to channel it, because they had, it was a different context. No one looking after you. No one is going to check if you've done your homework or not. In fact, if you don't do it, we're just going to fail you. But you also touched on the issue of being curious. I was 18 years when I went to Europe for the first time. And it is because I was curious. I was involved in university, and I went to Scandinavian countries without paying a cent, and really, really great, Momo. And I think you just touched on a lot of important issues, especially where the parents, are concerned. In my family, I'm also a firstborn, but first graduate. Right, within a generation also, from especially my mom's side of the family. And I could never expect my parents to walk me through, but the parents that we are parents right now. Our kids are going to
Yeah.
university.
Yeah.
We know how it is, and we can't just leave our kids there. It's important to walk them through it. Yeah, that's a great one. Thanks, Todd.
I love
Yeah,
that.
man.
I love
I can
that
see
you're
he's
talking
glowing.
Oh, I
Can
love
you
that
see
his
it,
spirit is lifted
Toto?
now. Yeah.
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 The part Slyso and tools that I really want these students to understand, uzobusuka kukumbu, or you're coming, you're coming from a very difficult background. One thing about university is that it can take you and put you on a stage, that you never imagined. And only because you were curious, go ask,
Yeah.
what's happening, and sometimes you don't have to pay a cent. You just have to be willing to participate, show up, go to practice. I mean, we have students, Slicer, who are brilliant in sports, never seen a plane before, but because they're involved in sport, they are flying now,
Here we
going to
go.
all these places because they decided, but these are my curious, and I'm going to just participate and leave leave what is happening at home, because a lot of students are also advise them to say, don't carry and embody your situation so much. It's not who you are. It's not. It's just that you're coming from. You need to remove yourself, and see that as, this is where I'm coming from, but this is who I want to become now. Really step into that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man, there you have it. We certainly will cut the entire Momo and put it out there as a video on its own, so that it's able to capture you, so that you can spread it to your peers as well. Watch, when uzabusuka emqanduli, when uzabusuka kwezindawo, and the traveling bills that you're talking about. Some of the stuff that's inspired me as well. Scandinavian countries as well, never paid a cent. My schooling just was a blessing. And this speaks to these values. This speaks to this being curious. This speaks to let me put my hand up, and be the guinea pig. When you are the guinea pig, you get the experience. I mean, to travel out of South Africa, you come back a different person. And guys, Sengana Tobeka at gmail.com, 0734213360. It's right here at the bottom. Guys, we're only gonna do one of the light stories, right? It comes from Chris Excel. Very quickly before we get to Bills. We're just gonna look at a story by Chris Excel, right, Bills? Big Brother. Big Brother, I don't know who I was talking to about this Zanzi magic and all of that. I know I'm tapping into people's bread and butter, but these stories about Ujjola Nabani, blah blah blah. But Chris Excel was talking specifically about Big Brother. Who does that thing benefit? You've got these adults that are in, he says, that are in this house. They're half naked half the time. They're gossiping about each other, trying to see who's the next person that this person is going to sleep with.
Is that what it's all about?
Is that it? Yeah. Like, you're going to spend the whole, I remember when it first came out, and I was like, okay, let me see what this thing, I didn't even finish it. That I'm not going to sleep. I'm watching other people.
I've never watched an episode of Big Brother. I've seen clips on the net, obviously, of the stuff that trends
when people talk about it.
Yeah. But I never thought, I've never been curious enough to understand what the whole concept is, right? I've always been curious about who has that amount of time in their hands to watch people living their lives and goofing around, and half the time they're bored. Those people look bored. Like, but you mentioned something. So is it to catch who's going to sleep with who and when? Is that what it's about, really? Where's Tortoise when I need her?
to break this down to us psychologically. What the fuck does this thing mean, man?
We did it.
Like
No,
you're gonna
there's
be
no
all up in
way.
there. Nah,
What?
man. I don't I, like.
So
I don't understand it.
Sliso, I think we're missing something. I think we need to ask the viewers. That cannot be. I'm actually going to ask my sister as soon as we're done. Yeah, because I'm
Look, we're
looking at
waiting for you to send us a comment as a viewer. Please just tell
yeah.
us, like,
Just tell us
what is
what
it
is
that
it
you
about?
find entertaining? What, like, is there entertainment value? Like, obviously there's nothing you learn, because I don't think those people at any point talk about their lives, what they do, their professions, their ambitions and stuff. It's not a platform for that. It's conniving, it's gossiping, it's all of these things.
Mm. But for
Oh,
me,
very
it's
interesting.
you get the receptions. I always see the receptions, the province or the MEC, the whatnot. They will throw a party for them coming back. Their families vote for them. I thought when they get intimate and it gets messy, it's just one of those things. People are just cabin fever. They've been closed off together and they start. I never thought it was weaved into the story or part of the plan.
Yeah, I don't even know
That's
how it works. That's very interesting. If you're a person, please, we're just about to get into Bill's segment right now. So you can quickly scribble your comments. I mean, watching such television, like with Yola Nabani, like umuntu wakho, hey, ujup use Pretoria East, like really,
uh,
dude. you know
yeah.
and I think this taps into what we talk about: behavior, values.
Mm.
Why am I going to spend my time watching somebody that's living
Listen,
their
I want to say this because
yeah.
I don't want to be dragged, right? I'm a 1K, yes, but there's nothing wrong with people who watch Big Brother. I think we need to put that disclaimer. There's absolutely nothing wrong,
No,
right?
for sure, there's
Uh,
nothing wrong, but we
yeah,
want to get, yes,
we
very
just
important.
want to understand, all right? I think the hype around it, maybe we're missing something because I think I did say that I've never watched an episode. I only watch the clips because they will come up on my feed and or somebody will be talking about it. But I've never really been curious enough to understand also what is the elimination criteria or any of those
Mm,
things. So yeah.
yeah. All right, before we be out of time, we need to go check out
Mhm.
what's going on here.
Wait,
What's
I
the
can't
tiger
see my
doing there?
visuals.
What happened? Why is there a cat now?
The
There's a
software, guys.
tiger. Hey, people, look here.
Oh
Martin, this is slap tag. Guys.
no! Oh, good God.
Now we
What
know
is
nobana ngubani
happening?
ubhesti kaGwede.
Wow.
Go get them, Tiger.
You guys always try to get me in trouble.
Oh no!
Now we know Uncle Gweezy Gasisa, who he moves with.
Oh,
What's going on? Oh, here we
There
go.
he is.
Oh
Yeah, the
my
secret
God.
is out. The secret is out.
Yes. What's up? What's up? What's up, guys? Okay, that's me. Hi, everyone. I'm finally on after being almost hijacked by a tiger. Uh, I think I'm going to keep just like Toto, just keep it a little bit, on the theme that we carried. We started with last week. You would remember that we spoke about the business licensing bill, but most importantly, what we tried to hone in on was how it addresses the issue of foreign-owned shops and how it tries to protect business from, illegal foreign trade and all of that. I think there's been a lot of talk around, our immigration policy and all of that. And as such, the Department of Home Affairs released a gazette. So you'd remember that it's when it reaches gazette, it's the final stage of the public participation, and I think it closes on the 16th of February. Very important. Please try to go to their website. You can even check on Google the Gazette on, let's get the correct title. It's the draft or revised white paper on citizenship, immigration, and refugee protection. Now, this paper, I think I want to talk mostly about how it affects business, but also I think there's also some areas of the paper that are of interest to me, and some of them I really did not really know about. I think the first thing that the paper wanted to look at was around citizenship. And I think what is most important, and I think what jumps out for me here, is that I did not know that as a South African until this paper, you could not hold dual citizenship, right? So our previous Citizenship Act enforced that you automatically lose your South African citizenship should you acquire another citizenship. So this is not going to be the case. You're going to be able to, have more than one citizenship, probably two, but you'll have to go in and make a comment in terms of how that would affect you. Another thing was around a point-based system, for economic citizenship, what they call it at this point. So there is a designation called a permanent residency. So if somebody comes from a different country and they get to South Africa, maybe because they work here or they study here and they spend a certain amount of time, then they would be granted what is called permanent residency. But now they've expanded that, to also ensure that whoever stays in is ranked based on a base a point system. And some of the things that they're looking at is basically skills and qualifications. So what skills is this person bringing to the country? Economic contribution. So this is for business now, entrepreneurs, things like job creation or how much capital are you investing in the country. But also if you're working, right, you're coming to work in the country, the higher your salary, the better, then the higher you score, because it determines how rare the skill is, right? They also want to look at things like your social contribution and integration, community service, volunteering, nation building projects. How proficient are you in local language, right? Any of our 11 languages. Also the age, right? This I felt was ageism, but if you're between 25 and 40, you're most desirable. But then we understand, I mean, the older you are, the more maybe burdensome you are to the system. I don't know, but the higher points for 24 to 40. And also, what is your connection to South Africa? Right. They've also, as part of this act, are coming up with 5 new visa categories. Right. The first one is a skilled worker visa, which consolidates we had the critical skills work visa and the general work visa. So those have been put together, and they will also be adjudicated according to the point-based system. There's also a startup visa. So this is a visa for entrepreneurs with innovative business ideas wanting to come into the country. So they can apply for the startup visa and set up shop. There's also one for remote work. So if you're working overseas and you're working remotely, but you want to live in South Africa, you can get that. Sports and arts visa for athletes, artists, and other professions, and trusted employer and tour operator scheme. So these are more for pre-vetted companies who operate in the tourism sector. I think the other important thing that I wanted to highlight was the digitization part of it. So South Africa wants to now move to what some of the first world countries are doing, where we don't stamp anymore. We scan your passport for electronic travel authorization, right? And there's also just another interesting thing that comes out, which is around refugee protection. So there is what we call the 1951 Refugee Convention that started in Europe to protect refugees from what they call, what is the term? It's quite but basically it prohibits countries from refusing refugees into their country or sending them to countries where they could potentially face harm, basically. And South Africa wanted to withdraw from that, but they've since, gotten back to that, and that refugee convention, as I said, mostly wanted to look at things like a non-refoulement. Yes, that is the sending back of refugees. So it is still this paper. What I'm trying to bring with this, it is still it still looks at it's still a good piece of legislation because it's still considerate of our moral responsibility as a country, whilst it also seeks to try and protect us in terms of the criteria, trying to tighten the criteria of who we come with, who comes into the country, how do they come into the country. And there's also a special advisory committee that is going to be put in place where that would then advise the Minister for the Department of Home Affairs. So if you want to really address issue around immigration policies, foreigners coming into the country, this is a perfect piece of legislation for you to go on board, make your written submission, and yeah, I think that's my story for today.
And he's definitely sticking to it.
And I'm sticking to it.
And then there was light. And then there was clarity.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bills. And I think it cuts the last segment. It wraps up everything. There's a 2 minute video that I was like, sort of like as the epilogue, like as we close off. People can listen to. We'll say our goodbyes, but we will leave them with that specific video. It's very educational. It lets you know as a South African, how you can contribute or have a voice in this democracy in terms of things that we're talking about now, immigration. It could be a law within the country, because these are done through a similar process, so there's that video that is at the end of it, but it's quite enlightening. People are here for sports. It's like, no, I'm just a sportsman, I just play. We think of who's the guy, the rugby guy from what you call it, from Zim, your friend, man, Bills.
Beast.
The Beast. Yeah. Originally he's from Zim, right?
Yeah.
So you get to learn, these things, how they work. Why are they in France, but like they're from Senegal, and all of these things. So it's a very important piece of information that you need to acquaint yourself with, and especially for those people who are gonna go, yeah, we're going to protest. Like, look at how constructively you can contribute.
Yeah. I like this.
And Toto was gonna make her thingy, ne? Have you made your written comments?
Yes, so actually I'm doing 2 submissions because there was a petition by one of the NGOs also that want to represent anyone who might not necessarily be able to find articulation in submitting their own comments.
Yes.
So you actually can, click on there. I found them on TikTok. So, you're able to actually just,
Awesome.
say they can submit on your behalf. That's another way of participation. But I like the idea of actually going through the document so that you can actually have a better understanding.
Yeah.
So I do want to encourage, especially us as professionals, man. Us as I'm going to speak now as a middle class person. We have to actually empower ourselves in terms of legislation and policies by actually go and understand it. Understand
Yeah.
what it says, and this is another nice opportunity where you can actually empower yourself to understand, so that when you are complaining, you're not actually complaining up on social media and going on a rant, about how unhappy and but you are not actually doing anything from your side. So who Bills calls us out here all the time, me
That's
and
why
Slyso
I'm doing this.
will definitely be complaining. It's very important to complain, right? But you must know what you're complaining about, and it must be constructive criticism that we're trying to give. So I think for me, I'm just wanting to say, people, look, this is an opportunity, and there are many other legislations that are being formulated that sometimes pass by, and because we are just not making the effort to read through, submit
Yeah.
your contribution, and don't wait until you are the one that is feeling the pinch in terms of how this is affecting you, because I know sometimes people are also very selfish in that way, like, oh, it's affecting who
Mm. Mm.
as far as what was happening in KZN. So it's also about just being a responsible citizen and understanding that if Slyso is affected where he is, it affects me, indirectly also. If Bills is aggrieved where he is because of how things are legislated. So let's do the right thing. Submit your comments and make sure that you contribute.
Just the last one on that, Toto. We have e-tolls today because people didn't submit any comments. They didn't reject,
Yes.
and we have
Yes.
e-tolls in Gauteng.
And
Yeah.
it's that middle class.
And people
I like
complained
that.
about e-tolls. When you go to social media, people complain on social, like, that's what I'm saying, is that must they use social media, because social
Yeah.
media
Did you
is
submit
wonderful.
anything? That thing was
Informal.
gazetted.
Yes. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we got to do better.
Yeah, we have to do better, guys. I just want to say thank you. Now obviously for other people, and I think it's done by Mazibuko. There's an NGO I think she works with. The video that we're gonna close off with,
Yes.
which
Yes.
explains
Yes. Yes.
in detail how a law is passed in South Africa. It's different for
I
different
love this.
countries. You go into
Yeah.
Google or YouTube, you'll find out this is how laws are passed. Each country has its own, unique to it, and I think it's going to be very beneficial. Excuse me, for South Africans as we close this episode off, and saying thank you very much, guys. The contributions very beautiful as usual. I can't get over the Momo today. Not that our contribution bills were not they're really up to par,
Not
but
the
look,
Momo
speaking
took me
to
back.
something that's a yeah, I could see like you were getting really emotional. Tiger, my God. I'm gonna say thank you very much, and we'll see each other next week on Monday. Do follow us, share our content, suggest in the comment section what we should talk about. If you have people that you think they are of value, they can add value, they can come with information on the podcast. Please do put it in the comments, both on especially on our YouTube channel, which is where we will ultimately be broadcasting from, towards the middle and end of the year. Guys, I want to say thank you very much. Have yourselves a wonderful week. Bills, I hope you feel better.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Have a great week.
Have a great week, guys. See you all.
Cheers.
So, who makes the laws that govern our daily lives? To understand this, let's explore the lawmaking process in South Africa and discover the roles of various lawmaking bodies, along with how you can make your voice heard. The National Assembly, the National Council of Provinces, provincial legislatures and municipal councils all play a role in the lawmaking process in South Africa. Chapter 4 of the South African Constitution sets out the national lawmaking process and makes it clear that Parliament is the national lawmaking body of the country. As the national legislature, Parliament, together with the National Council of Provinces, has the power to make laws in the national sphere of government. It can pass new laws, amend existing laws, and repeal old laws. As we discussed in courses number 5 and 6, provincial legislatures exercise the same power within the provincial sphere of government for provincial laws. Similarly, municipal councils exercise this power within the local sphere of government for municipal bylaws. To ensure that these lawmaking bodies don't cross each other's area of competence, the Constitution authorizes each body to make laws in different areas. For example, Schedule 4 of the Constitution lists the areas in which Parliament and the provincial legislatures jointly have the power to make laws. These include matters related to agriculture, consumer protection, health, housing, public transport, and regional planning and development. Schedule 5 lists the areas in which the provincial legislatures may make laws. Examples include issues related to provincial planning, liquor licensing, provincial roads and traffic, and provincial sports. Municipal councils may make laws for the administration of local government matters listed in Part B of Schedule 4. This includes building regulations, municipal health services, and trading regulations. If we look at Part B of Schedule 5, municipal councils may also make laws in relation to issues including the control of public nuisances, local amenities, and street trading. However, in exceptional circumstances, Parliament may make provincial laws to maintain national security, uphold economic unity, and establish minimum standards for service delivery across the country. Parliament may also prevent unreasonable actions by a province that affect the interests of another province or the country. Understanding who makes what laws helps you appreciate how laws are formed and implemented. As a citizen, you have the power to participate in the lawmaking process. You can engage with the representatives in these lawmaking bodies at various stages of the process. You can also provide input on proposed laws and stay informed about legal and policy changes. Remember, democracy thrives when citizens actively participate in the lawmaking process.